Oh, gee.
Use it. Sorry. Yeah, just open it up and just.
Is it a boy or a girl?
I don't know.
No. That's a girl. All right, 2023 is wrapped up here on our homestead. My name is Tom from Acres of Adventure. If you guys are new here or you've been along for the whole ride, we are going to be going through everything that we were able to accomplish this year, but not only accomplishments, but also the failures and mistakes that we had to learn from along the way. We took on many new things that we've never tried before, learned many new skills, and along that way, we learned a lot of lessons from the mistakes that we made. And that's one of the best parts about homesteading is all the different things that you learn along the way. It's why we come back and we are going to keep doing this again and again every single year. Now we want to recap the year with you guys starting from January to December to see everything that our family was able to accomplish, and hopefully there'll be some motivation for you guys to go ahead and start homesteading if you're not already. So let's start from January and you guys will see how the year went for us. Here we go. January and February are the winter months here in Michigan. So there's not a lot of crazy homesteading going on. It's more like surviving the harsh winter temps and moving forward to get to springtime where all the action really happens. The only difference this winter for us is that we already had our chickens, but we added pigs, and this was our first winter ever with pigs, which seemed to be a lot of fun with all the snow, dealing with no solar power really for our fencing that was supposed to try to keep them in. So yes, we did have a few breakouts along the way, and just making sure that our animals were comfortable during these winter temperatures, making sure that they had all the shelters they need, and then anything like that to make sure that they are surviving here in Michigan during our cold winter temperatures. And then unfortunately for that, it started going a little south for us because we had our very first chicken casualty here on our homestead. We have now had chickens for over 2.5 years, and along those times we've never lost any kind of adult chicken for any reason, no predator attacks or anything like that. We've been able to keep them safe, but that ended around March time for us. So you guys might know that we have a Great Pyrenees named Milo here, and Chelsea's mom actually has Milo's sister, and she named her Luna. We were dog sitting for her here. One of our chickens must have escaped our fencing and broke out of the chicken run, and next thing you know, we saw there was just a chicken laying on the ground, not moving, and it ended up being our first time ever having to deal with death of any of our homestead animals that we have. With death, but then there comes life. Then the next thing we were able to experience here on our homestead was receiving a shipment from eBay of rare hatching eggs. We have never hatched out chickens before, so we went ahead and got the eggs, got the incubator, waited out the 21 days, and we were able to see these chickens hatch right in front of our eyes, and it has to be one of our favorite things that we have ever done homesteading. It is so cool seeing those chickens hatch out of those eggs. Just seeing the brand new life in front of our eyes and watching them grow up from that small out of those eggs into big full-grown chicks was just an awesome experience. And not only did we do hatching eggs that we ordered, we actually put our own eggs in there that were fertile from our rooster and our hens that we had. So we were able to produce that all ourselves, and it was just a brand new experience that we will make sure that we keep on as a tradition every single year to add more chickens to our property. And from there, springtime was right around the corner. So this is where everything really starts to pick up when you start homesteading. Because this is the time where you need to get ready to start gardening. You need to get ready to start prepping your animals for the warm temperature. There's gonna be an egg increase coming from all your chickens. And what we needed to do was make sure our garden was ready to go. We had huge plans to really expand our garden. The previous year, we had about 5 raised garden beds. So the first thing we did is made 3 new raised garden beds to add to that total so that we could plant more. But not only did we do that, we ended up adding a whole new attachment to the garden, an in-ground gardening that we have never tried before, and we expanded it probably by more than 70% of what our garden was before. In order to do this process, we actually used our pigs on our property. The very first spot we ever put them was where we wanted to put the garden, and we had them basically break up the whole ground almost as like a tiller to make sure that it was all ready to go and that it was something that we wouldn't have to till or scoop up or break ourselves. After that, we let our chickens go on it for about a month, and then from there we covered it for the winter time. It was time to start prepping it exactly how we want. So we got a shipment of wood chips in, we got a shipment of dirt in, and we started putting a ton of work making sure that we can get this exactly how we want, laying all the dirt down, laying all the wood chips, because we had a vision of how we wanted it to look. And before I give you our final look and product of this, I'll show you guys when I talk about what we harvested for the year. So we'll get back to that. But we were super excited about how it was looking before all the plants got into it. The next thing that we did for the year is that we got our shipment of Red Rangers in, which is a type of chicken that you help raise for meat for your families. This was a breed that we've never raised before for meat. We've only ever done Cornish cross, and also receiving them in the mail was new to us, and getting 16 where the previous year we had 9 that we raised. So we basically almost doubled it, just about. And for meat chickens, you try to get them right about when it's getting warm outside so that you don't have to keep them in a brooder for long before you start putting them outside. Then we were finally ready to get them outside, and this year we actually revamped our chicken tractor. Before we had a style that we kind of had to bend over, we couldn't access and actually get into. So what I did is I basically used the pieces I had for that, added a few other ones, and able to make one that we were actually able to get into to take care of these chickens this year. And it made a big difference on taking care of them. And it was still lightweight, still easy to move. The chickens survived and we never lost any to any predators. So I would say that it ended up being a success. One of the things that we really wanted to do every single year is have one of our own chickens go broody and actually hatch out baby chicks all by themselves. So the previous year we had 2 attempts at this that didn't work. And then this year we finally had our first broody hen and we got super excited because it was time to try again. Unfortunately, once our hen was broody for about a few days, we ended up having way too many eggs getting laid under her, so we tried moving her to her own like broody little hut. And then from moving her into that new hut, she ended up not sitting on the eggs anymore, was super stressed, I think either from moving away from the chickens or us doing it maybe not as dark as it should have been at nighttime when we did move her. So unfortunately, that plan was scrapped and we were not able to hatch out chickens from one of our own hens again, and never had a broody hen again for the whole year. It was just a one-time thing, never got another chance. So we were not able to be successful in that attempt. The next few months of homesteading was basically just taking care of the chickens, taking care of the pigs, watering the garden, and just keeping everything maintaining at a good pace. Your animals need a ton of attention, your garden needs a ton of attention, and it's probably the second most exhausting part of the year is when spring is really going. And one thing that we realized with spring, and after just hatching out our own chicks, is that you're gonna have a lot more roosters, and having a lot of roosters is actually kind of a problem. Unfortunately for us, we didn't have the best ratio. We probably had about 50-50, which we would have liked obviously to have more hens than roosters. But getting all these roosters ended up making a lot of rooster fights going on throughout our property. The roosters were not getting along right because of the competition for hens. So we thought to give them their own rooster coops because we heard that if you separate them and put them in their own spot without hens around, that they would actually do better with each other. Well, unfortunately, we had some bad rooster fights going on in those where we almost lost a rooster just from one killing the other one. So we actually ended up having to process our extra roosters and put them into our freezer, which we were happy to do. That was our first time processing chickens on our own property by ourselves. It was only about 5 roosters, so it wasn't like it was a ton of work, but it did feel nice to be able to do that for ourselves. As I mentioned about that being the second hardest part of the year for homesteading, this is the hardest part of the year. This is where all the work that you've been working on, now you need to do all the end products. So you need to start harvesting from your garden nonstop, which our garden looked absolutely beautiful out here. It was just everything we imagined when we set it up, and it's one of those things that you just want to pat yourself on the back and make yourself realize, like, we put this hard work in, we had the vision, and we were able to execute it just how we want. We harvested a whole bunch, we were able to can a lot of the stuff that we harvested, plus just eat anything from our garden throughout the whole entire year. And we're very excited for the next gardening year now that we got this whole experience in, because along with everything that we were successful for, of course, we had our failures in the garden, things that didn't grow well, things that didn't produce, things that we didn't come out and harvest when we were supposed to, things that we grew next to each other that shouldn't, bugs that ate our crops. Every single one of those things that didn't go right though, we'll able to turn in hopefully to a success next year. Along with harvesting from our garden, we finally have been through 3 months of raising our Red Rangers here on our property, moving them every single day in the chicken tractors, sometimes twice a day, coming out, making sure they have their water, their feed, and everything they need to make sure that they are at their right size so that we can put them into our freezer. The previous year, when we harvested our 9 Cornish cross chickens, we actually went over to a neighbor's house and they helped us process them. They had all the equipment. So it was something that was like we were able to kind of learn. We did help out, but we didn't have to do as much. This year we decided we were gonna get everything that we need and start doing it on our property because this is something that we wanted to make sure that we could do ourselves. So we ended up doing all 16 of these chickens on the same day. And everyone, make sure you give Chelsea a ton of credit for this one. She did this basically at the start of her 9 months of being pregnant and sat there and was able to process chickens with me, get it all done. And not only this year did we process chickens, we actually pieced them like by chicken legs, chicken breast, chicken thighs, and that was something that was a brand new skill for us to learn. But we wanted to make sure we could save freezer space since we did have our 2 Mangalitsa pigs that we knew that we were gonna be processing here at the end of the year. So that was a new skill we got to learn, which we're super happy about because it makes planning meals so much better when you have all the different kind of things in pieces than to just cook a whole chicken every single time. Here in Michigan, it's like your last like warmer month, and then it's gonna be October, November, December, it gets cold. So one thing I wanted to do for our main egg laying flock is I wanted to build them a really big run that's attached to their coop. We let our chickens free range, so it's not necessarily we did it so that like predators don't happen. But this was more for that when it snows here in Michigan or it gets really cold, they have more room and more places to be without snow being on the ground than just being jammed up in their coop. Because I don't want 20 plus chickens being inside this coop for long extended periods of time. But I couldn't make it where it was just a run and it was kind of boring. So I made sure I spiced it up by adding a whole bunch of things for them to play on. I kind of call it like our chicken playground. They have a whole bunch of different roosts that we use real branches from our property, from trees, pieces that have fallen. I gave them a swing added in there. They have dust bathing spots to be in there. They have composting towers to eat from, and a nice natural ladder made from pieces and twigs to come out of the coop on. And this was probably the biggest project that I've ever taken on and tried to build myself. So it felt really nice for us to put this all together and see it out, and the chickens have absolutely been loving it. And we've had a few snowfalls here before the end of the year, and it's done just what I wanted. It gave the chickens more room. They were able to be in that chicken run without worrying about going in the snow, and I can tell that they were thankful for it. Of course, adding new animals to our homestead and experiencing new things is always great, and we love our animals here. But the next thing that we were able to add to our homestead was our brand new baby girl, Nora. As I mentioned, Chelsea was about 9 months pregnant when we were processing chickens. We had a home water birth here on our property where the whole family was able to be a part of the birth and be able to see Nora be born. And it was just such a beautiful moment. And these are these things that you truly, truly will never forget, being able to experience it all together. Chelsea did a great job, as always. If you guys are unaware, this was actually our 4th child. We have 3 daughters and 1 son at the ages of 7, 4, 2, and now Nora being about 3 months old. After that, it was nice. I was able to have some time off work so we could be able just to stay home as a family, enjoy our brand new baby. And then there was just a few more things that we had to get done here on the homestead to wrap up this year. Number 1 is what we had to do is split up our chicken flock. So we were gonna have an egg laying flock, and then those chickens that we actually hatched out to start this year was a Splash Moran breed that lays the dark chocolate brown eggs. And we needed to split them up to where we had our egg laying flock and then our flock that we're gonna end up sending out hatching eggs to people as soon as the next spring comes along. This is a project that we've been excited to do here. We've been waiting to try to just kind of find some business things to do here on our homestead. Other than just everything being kind of more just for ourselves, it's nice to be able to produce something here and actually give out to other people. That'll be something that'll be brand new to us. The next thing on our homestead was definitely an exciting thing, but probably one of the sad moments here this year. It was time for our 2 Mangalitsa pigs that we've been raising for 14 months to finally get processed and put into our freezer. Taking care of these pigs during those 14 months was definitely one of the coolest experiences that we've done yet. Chickens are one thing, and chickens are nice. We absolutely love our chickens here, and it's fun taking care of them. But taking care of a pig and actually seeing kind of more farm animals on our property gave us that like really cool feeling of like, yeah, we're doing this. And what's nice about that is that we had Jason from Northern Pathworks come out, and he came to our property and actually did it right on our property. So we were able to see the whole thing, be a part of it, ask questions, and really feel like we're just still a part of it all. Instead of it being like we just ship the pigs out and then we just come back and we get the meat. It was really cool seeing the whole thing done and then saying, hey, maybe next year or the year after, this is something that we can actually do ourselves as well. And after a couple weeks, we came back and we were able to receive all the meat from those pigs. And that's where you realize, yeah, maybe the pigs broke out. Maybe it wasn't fun coming out every single day, feeding them, giving them water, moving them throughout the woods. It had its bad times, but all the good moments for it, and then seeing that work pay off and seeing all the meat it produced, and just the quality of this meat has been absolutely amazing, and our family has been enjoying it. Who doesn't like bacon? And we are just very proud of ourselves for being able to produce that for us. And then December, it's getting really cold here in Michigan, so it's just kind of like restarting like the start of the year was. Prepping for the winter time, making sure our chickens have all the shelter and protection that they're gonna need for this winter, tarping things up so that they don't have all the cold wind hitting them, just making sure that our homestead is winter-proofed and ready to go so that we don't have to do it once it gets really freezing outside and be like, oh no, we haven't done it yet. And that's about all the work that we have left to do. The very last thing that we've done this year, and we've talked about it here in the last few videos, is that we finally started up our own website here with our brand, Acres of Adventure, and we are super excited, of course, to have this so that we can be able to share more with you guys, explain things that we have coming up here on the homestead, sending out newsletters to people's emails who want to sign up, and just being able to give you guys different blog posts with information and things to learn that way that might not be on a YouTube video all the time. And of course, I mean, this is a business for us. This is something that I would like to do full-time one day. Be able to leave work and just be able to spend more time with our family, but also produce more content for you guys. And in order for us to do that, we need to make sure that we are expanding our business the best that we can. And we think that this website will help us out, but will also help you guys out by giving you guys as much information as we can possibly give you guys. Now on the homestead, this is basically just like the planning time of homesteading. During the winter time, it's cold. We got nothing growing here in our garden. It's all gone. Our chickens, they have their stuff. They're winter-proofed and ready to go. So now we just need to figure out what's gonna be new, what are we gonna bring to the homestead, where do we wanna plant certain things this coming year. You gotta use this time to plan, because like I said, there's not much you can actually do right now. So you might as well take the time to figure out what you're gonna be bringing. And if you guys are new and you have not been watching, we are definitely going to be trying to bring goats and then probably honeybees. So there will be some new animals and new content for you guys to look at and learn from us. And when I say learn from us, I mean learn as in like as we are actually in the process of learning as well. I don't mean us just being like, this is how you do this. We're gonna show you guys as much as the stuff that we do well here, we are going to show you the mistakes of course too. Because I think that is the best way to learn, is seeing other people's mistakes and learning from your own mistakes. Whether you guys are new here, or maybe you've been watching all of our adventures the whole entire time, we appreciate you guys so much for supporting us and helping us out along the way. Your guys' comments, sharing these videos, sending us information and tips and things to do has been very helpful. And I hope you guys have such a great 2024. We can't wait to share all the new stuff that we'll be doing for you guys. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. We'll see you guys in the next year.